are you doing with yourself as a resource for your company? And where is your company that's investing in you to create business? How are you spending your time, and how are you tracking that time? So I'm not going to go into there, but if you can't relate directly to digital marketing, online marketing, maybe this is a way to help make some connections for you. That'll give you some insights to maybe if you're on track for doing good business or not, or creating new business, I should say. So some bold statements. If you can't acquire customers with a reasonable cost of acquisition, then you don't really have a business. We need to know how much we need to spend to acquire a client, and that means even if we're hiring someone to go out and do business development, we've got to be able to figure out, is the squeeze worth the juice, for lack of a better term. If you don't monitor your cost of acquisition, your activities can get out of control. So if you hire too many people and you're not generating enough business, we're in the red. So we want to make sure we're monitoring that. And then typically the lower the cost, the more you can scale your business. So the more money you make, the more money you can reinvest into your business. Pretty straightforward. The spirit and intent of this. So marketing our businesses online can seem complicated, expensive, and so I want to explore with you approaches of online marketing and how you can narrow down your spend and explode what you're bringing into your company. Now, I'm not going to tell you the tips and tricks and all that. This is not a digital marketing training by any means. This is more a lecture about the thought process of how to go about just digital marketing in general. So there's 4 things that we're going to look at today. We're going to define the lifetime value of a customer. It's really important to know the value of that person that we're serving to our company. We're going to determine the amount that we should be investing to gain that customer. We'll discuss at a very high level methods of attracting customers online, and then we're going to talk about how can we track whether or not this is working for us. How can we bail out as quickly as possible so we're not in the red? Again, we're focused on growing our business. So number 1, we're going to define the lifetime value of a whoa, how do you go back here? That was weird. There we go. Let's define the lifetime value. Now this is a very extremely crude way of doing this. This is not talking about subscription-based businesses, anything of the sort. For me, it's just plain simple. If you happen to know how much gross revenue you made last year, divide that by the number of transactions, now you know the average value. We got a business merger acquisition guy here. He could show you better ways to determine the average lifetime value, but for this talk and for my examples, we're just going to go with this crude way. So if the company has made $300,000 in gross revenue out of 369 transactions over the year, the average value of that customer is $813. So anyone I do business with, I know that they're going to bring $813 of business into my company. That's what I'm running with. So now that we have that defined, we have that magic number, the next thing we need to do is figure out how much are we willing to invest in that $813? How much are we willing to spend to get some back? And also, of course, create that customer, serve that customer. So I'm a nerd online, right? I go to Google. Everybody else does. Why shouldn't I? So recommended marketing budget 2020. That's the search phrase. The snippet at the top, U.S. Small Business Administration suggests 7 to 8% of your gross revenue should go towards your marketing budget. Of that, they're looking at about 45% of that 7 to 8% going to online marketing. So keep that in the back of your mind. The company's holding back 55% for things happening outside. So that's billboard signs, that's commercials, that's TV ads, that's print, etc. So 45% we're going to talk about here today. So if I've got $300,000 and it's recommended I spend 8% for marketing for the entire year, it's 24 grand that I should be investing in my company. Of that 24 grand, 45% of that, if I'm just going along with the rest of the herd, I should spend around $10,800 on online marketing. Per month, I should be spending about $900 a month on my marketing online. So again, this is for digital marketers in here, or someone if you're in the marketing space and you're trying to work with a client. These numbers are fantastic as far as helping them really realize what they should be spending, why they should be spending, but two, it's a negotiation point right here. We can figure out what we can do for you at $900 a month, and maybe Facebook ads. And off we go. If you want to increase that budget because we're projecting this revenue gets larger over the year, then awesome, let's do that. So now that we have our numbers, we know what to work with. We can see there at the bottom of the slide, our break even is about 14 new customers. That's all we need for the entire year to cover our marketing. So we invested the $10,800. If we create 14, that's it. We've broken even. But of course, we don't want to do this and break even. We want to do this and make money. We want to do this and make our clientele money, even more importantly. So now that we've identified what our budget is, we know the value of our customer, we know what our budget is. At a high level, I want to discuss with you ways to attract customers online using that budget. So currently there's about 7 types of online marketing. And I'm sorry if you can't read that. Social media marketing, we all know what that is, right? We all just checked in here. That's part of it. Every time you're out there active on social media, you're engaging with people. You're actually your own personal brand, right? I mean, you're kind of marketing yourself every time you go out there. So when we say, hey, watch what you say out there, this is your brand. This is the people don't know you very well. This is what they see of you. This is what they learn of you. So imagine if you have a social media management company out managing your business page, you want to pay some attention to that. Make sure they're engaging your customer the way you want them to. There comes a cost to that, though. So you're hiring a social media manager. And maybe it's $900 a month. You just spent your entire budget on that, and that's fine. Can they create 14 customers for you this year, right? That's the goal, break even. Of course, it's not really the goal. We want to create customers. So if I can spend $1 and get $1 back, I really need 28 customers. So if a social media manager came to me and they said, hey, let's break this down. How much do you need? And I tell them, well, I need 14 customers just to break even. Okay, so if I gave you 28, you'd be happy? Well, I should be. I would think I should be. And so in business, we really don't necessarily think that way. We should be thinking that way. We should be going, well, okay, I spend 1 and I get 2. What happens if I spend 100? I should expect 200, right? Well, let's do that. You know, that's what we as marketers want to hear from our clientele. And that's how we want our clientele to be looking at their numbers. We never want anyone in business to simply just turn the faucet off. That it doesn't make sense. You get the momentum going, you're building your business, you're now able to scale. Now, where it doesn't make sense is, I'm self-employed, I've got a sweet spot, I don't want any more than that. I'm good. And we hear that a lot in business as well. So this isn't for everybody, but regardless, it should still help everybody as far as thinking about what they're doing with their time, with their money, with their budget. So I'm going to fly through here. Sorry, I rambled a little bit. Influencer marketing. So I put Patrick Mahomes on here. Everybody has probably said this to someone. Man, I hope they make a deal with Patrick. We can't lose Patrick. We can't lose Patrick. And they need to pay him top dollar. How many times have you heard somebody else say, dude, he's making so much money from endorsements. He's making so much from endorsements. And the reason why is, if Patrick Mahomes wore a Stone Amp SEO t-shirt on, my phone would be blowing up. If Patrick Mahomes called me and said, hey man, 10 grand and I'll post a photo of me wearing your shirt, I'm in. All day long. I'm not gonna bat an eye at it, I'm in. 10 grand? I mean, I'm gonna create a poster, stick that on the wall, of course, but he has such a huge following. People are going to see my brand, call me up. They wanna know, how do you know Patrick? Oh, well, you know, whatever that is, that's mine to sell, right? To close the deal. So that's another means of influencer marketing. So think about that. If you know a celebrity that you can tap into, it doesn't hurt to pay them a little bit of money to make some money. Affiliate marketing. So this phrase is kind of thrown around a lot in this particular scenario. What this means is leveraging other people's websites and/or their email lists. And typically, what you would do is you would simply say, hey, I need to leverage what you got. Here's my budget of $900, and it's fantastic. We're going to send an email blast out to 5,000 people, and we'll put a link out on our social media or out on our website. And by the way, whatever you create in customers, you need to pay us a percentage as well. Nothing wrong with that. It's great business. You're just kind of sharing the love there.
Hey, give us an example of that, like who's doing it?
Who's doing email marketing?
No, affiliate.
Or affiliate marketing? A really good site would be, there's a site called jvzoo.com. That's a marketplace for people that are selling a lot of like online courses and products. You probably see ads where they're like, hey, here's some video creation software, and hey, here's this kind of software.
Oh,
that
you're
you can
talking about
buy.
taking out ads on.
No. Basically, me as an affiliate marketer, I could go out there, I could pick a product. So let's say you're selling ink cartridges. You could go out.
Let's say.
Let's say that, right?
Yeah.
So let's say that you sign up with an affiliate marketplace like JVZoo, and I'm not affiliated with JVZoo, I have an account, but I'm not using it. You would go out there and say, hey, I've got ink cartridges. The full price is $100 a cartridge. I don't know what your prices are. I'm willing to pay 50% to anyone who sells these on my behalf. Me as an affiliate marketer, I might go out there and go, oh, I can sell that all day long because my email list is made up of people who hate trees and they just want to keep printing or something. So I would jump on and I would say, I got you. And I would blast out my emails, I put it out on my IHateTrees.com website, and people would click on the link and buy the ink so we can print more paper. So that's a horrible analogy. As I'm bringing in customers to you, this is where you as the business owner, you're receiving new customers. You're selling,
you're company,
selling widgets. I know you are. And I'm making a commission off of that. So that's where how that relationship happens. So affiliate marketing, usually you don't pay up front, you just simply pay based off of results. Email marketing, we all know what that is. We all have seen the newsletters come through. We've all seen the, right now we're getting 2 a week from the Chamber of Commerce. Why is that important? Well, you put a link on your website. You put a link to a landing page that you've got a smoking hot deal on it, right? And if somebody clicks on that, all right, well, you can go rent email lists. It's frowned upon that you go buy someone's list anymore. And so what you want to do is reach out to companies that have built massive lists. There's a friend of mine in West Palm, Florida. They have over 15 million email addresses, and they sell $5,000 chunks every month to conservative, right-wing, NRA. Like, they have this demographic down, and they call up companies and they say, you want to run our list? Give us your email, and we'll go blast it on your behalf. So that's another way that you can market your product. Content marketing. So we all know about blogging. We all know about websites like Medium, Quora, and this is the opportunity for you to go out there and share your expertise online. Again, adding a link into your content, getting that traffic back to your sales page, and did we make a deal? On down to SEO, my favorite thing in the entire world. And we all know that that's basically when I punched in earlier marketing budgets for 2020. I grabbed the top result. That's an organic result. I didn't click an ad to get the information. I grabbed the number one thing that Google showed us. And then, of course, paid advertising. We all know about Facebook ads. We know about Google ads. YouTube ads are really starting to pick up because video in general is really picking up. And so that's another one you want to consider. Number one thing you should be practicing. Now, this is where I'm saying, hey, think about too, you're being a salesperson or whatever else. Your phone still rings, right? I mean, it doesn't have to happen through online. It can be that bandit sign or the billboard or what have you. How did you hear about us is probably the most important thing you can do or ask when you're visiting with someone for the first time. To be able to know where they came from and track that on a regular basis, it's really going to give you the idea of where you need to double down your efforts. If our budget's that small, and all of a sudden I get a phone call and they say, yeah, I want to do business with you. I just saw you out on Medium, on your blog, the blog that you put out there. Oh, okay, fantastic. Here's a check for that. I may want to double down and write another piece of content pretty soon, sooner than later. So it's really important to ask either how did you hear about us or how did you find us, and keep note of that. And if your marketing people aren't reminding you to do that for yourselves, especially if you're investing in any kind of marketing. You want to know if it's paying you back. If it's not, go explore other opportunities. Okay, so in this scenario, the examples that I'm going to show you is based off of an SEO campaign for an actual client. Now, part of our campaigns is we do include social media posting, as well as Google My Business posting. And we encourage that they hand out business cards that have their website address on the business card. So we'll also see not only organic traffic, we'll see referral traffic, we'll see direct traffic. Anytime you see in what I show you, direct traffic, it's basically somebody has memorized your URL. Somebody has gone stoneyfseo.com. You know, that's easy, go right to them. That's direct traffic. If someone clicks on a link from Facebook or they click on a link from an email, that's called referral traffic. And of course, if someone does a Google search and they click on a result from that search engine, that's organic traffic. We're not running paid ads, so I don't have that notated here, but you would clearly see paid ads. Measuring what's working for us. The client that we're working with, the data I'm going to show you is over a 2-month period, just this year. I'm not going to advertise for my client. I should, they're paying me, but they're paying me for SEO. So before I do that, there are various ways that you can track what's going on online. So beginning with source parameters, I'm sure you've seen this UTM_source sometimes when you click on something, you go, what the heck is that? That's ugly. That is a way for us to go, oh, that's a click from Facebook, that's a click from Google, that's a click from wherever. Get comfortable adding that to the end of anytime you share your website. You can even put email. It's a real quick way in your analytics to see where did this traffic come from. Vanity URL. So we have here spring promotion. So maybe you have a sales page, you're advertising something just this spring. Maybe you're going to run Facebook ads to this. You're going to also do emails out to this. You're going to tell your friends about this. Although that would be direct traffic. Maybe you put it on a business card, I don't know. Another way of just tracking, of course, coupon code, so 20% off for 2020. You're going to see that show up in your shopping cart when someone uses it. So you're getting an idea of what is it that's driving people? Where are they coming from? If you have a unique phone number, so I have 888-55-MY-BIZ. You can have multiple phone numbers for your business, we do. And we've created phone numbers in the past for clients because they want to go explore other areas in the country, and we actually go claim a local number for them, and we'll put that on their page. And so they know when that phone number comes in, oh, that's coming from North Carolina. Wow, that's cool. Now what's scary is when we turn off our SEO campaign and 6 months later the phone rings from that number, so there's some things that you want to be wary of. Make sure that you disable these things as well. Surveys. Again, how did you hear about us? You can send out survey monkeys. Ask people, hey, we've been doing business for a while. Do you remember how you found us to begin with? What do you like about it? Of course, you're going to do other questions to help you understand your business more. And I have highlighted here website click events. So this is one of my favorite ways to see what's going on a website once the user gets there. Now, I only care about this because I'm focused on SEO for this particular example. Although website click events is pretty cool, regardless of where somebody comes from, what are they doing on my website? So it's really fun to visit with a client and say, hey, check this out. You know, this many people came to your site, and of those people, this many people clicked on stuff. Phone was ringing, they booked an appointment, they did all these things. And then they go, oh, you're right, they did. And so I need to do a better job of training up clients to say, hey, don't forget to ask, how'd you find us? Where did you book you booked the appointment online? Did you do that through Facebook? Did you do that through this or that? And we can dig in the analytics and see these things. But to create that habit, we may not always be around. And so to help that business owner just create that habit is extremely helpful. So high-level tracking. This is a screen of 2 months, the past 2 months. This is overall traffic, 8,451. I've got it segmented up here. You can see organic traffic, direct traffic, referral traffic, all users, of course. I didn't include paid traffic because we're not running paid ads, so it'd just be a big goose egg and a waste of space. But what we have here is the overall page views over 2 months, the source of where they came from. So we have organic, direct traffic, and then referral traffic again. Social media, emails, direct traffic. I know the name of the domain and I just typed it in and went, or I have that bookmarked. And then of course I was running a search and I found you. You satisfied my search and I came over to your website. So what we like to do is then drill in to that data. And so we're looking at these are the click events that I was talking about. So a rule of thumb is 3% is really all we expect. Now, people that visit our website, we only expect 3% of those visitors every month to do something. It doesn't seem very high, that's just the standard, industry standard, 3%. So if you're talking with someone and you just want to seem kind of cool, you can, and if you're talking about your online presence or whatever, you can simply ask them, hey, what's your conversion rate on your website? And if they say, oh, well, like 50%, they're blowing smoke. If they say 2.5%, hey, that's really good. We come across sites that are like 1.8% and they feel like they're fine. And so it's really interesting. It takes a lot of traffic to generate a little bit of clientele. It's just the nature of the beast. A lot of us are just out looking for information. We're not ready to pull the trigger on something. We don't have the funds to pull the trigger on something. You know, whatever that reasoning is, who knows? Or just simply didn't answer the query, they're on to the next query. But in this example here, what I'm showing you is the clicks. And so of all users, we had 246 clicks. And of those 246 clicks, 167 came from organic searches, 62 of those came from direct, and 17 came from social media. So something good's happening on social media. Anytime we see clicks from any of these channels, something good's happening. Now, we make the decision, do we want to double down? Do we want to invest more money here? So now if we, and here is that metric as far as the conversion rate. So right now this website's at 2.9% conversion. We feel really good about this. We feel like we're right on track. You know, we can always do better. We always want to break 3%, but we're not losing any sleep whatsoever at 2.9%. It's awesome. We love it. Our client loves it. We can see here, again, this client is running an SEO. So SEO should be winning. That's where they're investing their money, and it is. We can see that, and this is the breakdown again, and I kind of already highlighted where this traffic is coming from. But now imagine these are actual clicks to do something. They're emailing you, they're booking an appointment, they're calling you. So it's on you to figure out, what's my close rate? What do I do when this happens, when they call me up, when they book an appointment? To me, it sounds like a lot of money. If you, they're the hyper buyer at this point calling you. Book me an appointment. Let's get this thing going. Let me check on time. Wow, this is going fast, good.
Jeremy, can I stop you real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you help break down like what a call to action, like in this, or give an example of what a call to action is? Because what I'm thinking about is if you have 8,451 visitors to your site, is that what that means?
No, so the call to action is actually of the visitors, everyone that's visited your website, those 8,000 people over the past 2 months. Now we're drilling in another layer and saying, of those people, how many people actually did something on my site? How many people actually reached out to me for my services?
And that's what you're measuring. That's the 246, and of those 246, the bulk of them are coming from organic.
That's correct.
Gotcha.
Yep, that's correct. Yeah, which is what we want to see. Now obviously we're cheering anytime they get a click from anywhere. We really don't care, but because they're paying us for SEO, we really care about SEO and we want to make sure we're dominating that area. If we're, I mean, I'm happy to compete with the social media manager over there. I don't have to. And the thing is, I don't use information like this to throw anybody under the rug or anything else. It's just, we're reporting what we're doing. You can decipher what you want to out of the rest of whatever you're paying for. It's none of my business. I'm focused on SEO. And so, thanks for asking. Hopefully I answered your question.
No, yeah.
Okay, good.
Thank you. What I wasn't sure is if that 3% is people that were actually buying products, but you might not actually have a way to measure that.
Right, and that's different depending on the business.
On the business. So this could be 3% of people buying products, but it's just, in measuring terms, it's clicking some sort of link on the site.
Yeah, so all we're saying, well, not just some sort of link, it's actually, when I say a call to action, it means they are either calling, they're getting directions to my place, so I can assume they're getting ready to drive to me. They're sending me an email. So there's, basically the call to action is,
Gotcha.
they want to interact with me a little bit further.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
So what you were saying, Jeremy, is the fact that once you see this call to action 246, the business owner has to track what that 246, how that equated, right? Because you don't know
so
that
I don't
if they
have
actually bought something, they just drove to my place, but could have just looked around and left.
Right, exactly. And I don't have, and I could have drilled down even more so. So we're tracking at a level of what did they click? And so this actually breaks down for us where it's, we'll say 80 calls. They literally hit a button that had a phone number on it, 80 phone calls came through. 10 of them clicked, I need directions. 13 of them clicked, book an appointment. So we're capturing all of that data that's meaningful to them to where we actually break that down and show them. And it's fun for me because I look at this stuff and then our account manager, Jody, she'll go have the face-to-face meeting and go through this with them. And I know they're gonna be tickled to death. Now, I don't share it with Jody because I'm kind of honoring. And so I like to worry her, hey, I've been looking at the numbers. I don't know if it's gonna be a good meeting. And then she shows up and she's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So we love that. I love it, but yeah. So it's the call to action is literally I'm taking action to interact with you at this point. Now, depending on how well you are in your closing process, how great you are at getting them to give you the money, that's something you've got to figure out. I can't do that on the net, right? Unless we're running an e-com store, now we can do all kinds of stuff. But when we're talking about advertising, any way of advertising that you literally have someone physically coming to your brick and mortar to buy a product or a service, at that point it's on you. And so that's where you need to understand your numbers of, well, when somebody walks through the door out of 10, how many of them actually sign a deal with me or buy something from me? That's really important information to know too, especially if you're working with any sort of digital marketer. You need to know what your numbers are. Because that digital marketer, they need to be able to quote you a price that is gonna bring you in some dough, right? I mean, you don't want them coming in and going, hey, it's gonna cost you $5,000 a month, and you go, okay, one, that's not my budget. Two, I don't believe you. That seems like an awfully large number, and then you put it on them to prove it out. Going through these numbers, we undercharge. And I'll show you why here in a second. Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is interesting to me because I did some SEO in the past. They never asked me any of these questions. No,
I apologize
and
for that.
they did a terrible job.
We-
So it turned me off.
Yep, and I run into this quite a bit. There's been a lot of companies that have been burned. There was a shift back in, quick history lesson, there was a shift back in 2013 with Google's algorithm. It used to be, you've got 10,000 links going to your website, I'm gonna send 10,001 and I win. And every time, just whoever had the most links, didn't matter what was being linked to your website, you're number one as long as you had power to you. It's changed dramatically. It is a completely different animal. There's over 300 different ranking factors that we're tracking on to rank our sites. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of fun for me because, as you heard in my bio, this is where I come from. I come from IT. I love it. It just trips my triggers so much. So the reason why I bring that up is there are some SEOs that they can't hang up the hat. They're really good at selling the service. They're really good at bringing in that money, and they're fine billing you for 3 months before you catch on that they sold you a bag of goods.
That's how long I was with it.
Yeah. So hopefully whatever digital marketing company you're working with, they're spending the time to walk through this. They're trying to understand your business a little bit more. They're trying to figure out what your goals are and within what they can do for you, if it's even feasible. And there's times where I've literally had to say, I'm sorry, I can't do it for anything less. I'm willing to take a beating sometimes just for a review or just for a referral. If we break even, awesome. Can you give me a referral? We're willing to do that because we really want to see people win in business. But if your digital marketer at any capacity isn't at least having a conversation of what does a customer really mean to you? How many new customers is really meaningful to you? Let me show you how we're going to track this. Let me show you how you're going to keep me honest. Because I want you smiling every time you write that check to me for my services. I want you giggling. This customer right now is probably giggling. I can't wait to share this with her. Because she's going to go, oh, you found me out. But I love her, so I don't really care. So here's our numbers. Now, again, we had $300,000. It gave us a $24,000 revenue, marketing budget. $10,800 is what we're going to use for online. We've broken that down. We're going to spend $900 a month. Over a 2-month period of the data I just showed you, we had 246 call to actions. Now, I'm just throwing you all numbers at this point. I haven't asked them what their close rate is. But I'm just gonna say, if our close rate's 50%, half of the people that took the time, to go out of their way to contact me, decided to do business with me. I've created almost $100,000 in new business. Now, that doesn't mean I get a check for $100,000 within that 2 months, right? It's lifetime value. This is over the period of 1 year is how we got this number. But I can look at that and say I just brought in $99,990 into my company for this year. So is our marketing working? Well, if they invested $900 a month with us and we're bringing in $99,999, I'd say it's working in spades. I mean, for every dollar they're spending, they're receiving $110 back. Best slot machine in the world right there, right? Now, of course, I got that number from subtracting the actual marketing spend and then whatever's left over. So I wanted to throw another slide here of, well, what if we're just bad at sales? Or what if we're just, 50% is just too high? A lot of those clicks were, I need directions only to drive by and say, oh, that building's ugly, I'm gonna keep on going. Or I submitted a form and I was just asking a question. And so if our number is off, what if it's just 10%? So if 246 people that contacted us, 24 people are doing business with us, we're still generating $19,000 in revenue for them. So now it's not $1 for every, you get 110 back, but it's $1 and you get 20 back. And I'll take those odds all day long as well, every day. So this is how I would want you to think about when you're looking at, especially if you're thinking about online marketing, you want to have a conversation with people that are doing your online marketing. Hey, let's look at the data. Like, I know my numbers. Let's see what our website is producing for us. Imagine you own this website, you want to go sell your company, and you have these numbers nailed down. This website's an asset. This is a 24/7, 365 salesperson for you, nonstop, all day, every day. And you can literally break it down. Now, this is where I'm going to challenge you. For every dollar that your employer spends on your salary, are you generating $20 back for them? And that's not to, it's not to like, that's not a negative statement. It's just, if this helps you think about things in just slightly a different way. How much does a business card cost to print out? How long does it take you to drive to a meeting? How much time do you spend in that meeting? Do you buy coffee? How much does that cost you? When you get that business card over, you include that in the fees. You got to drive away from there back to the office. It's all time, effort, energy, and that's something that we can't get back is our time. So we need to be really careful with how we're using it. If it's meaningful to you because, well, yeah, every time I go meet somebody for coffee, I know my numbers. I meet 10 people, I close 5 deals, and that means 50 grand for my clients or for my boss. Awesome, feel good about yourself. I mean, you're certainly a rock star in your company. And that's how I was hoping you guys would kind of see these numbers and maybe you could translate how we're looking at data with online traffic to maybe even your day-to-day, how you're going out and interacting with people. So it wasn't meant to be negative, it wasn't, please don't take it that way, it's really just a thought process of how we're spending our time and are we being effective. If anything, when I think about this stuff for myself, I go out and have a lot of coffee. I'm standing here trying to present this information. It's my time, right? Is it worth it to me? I don't know. I'm going to find out. I'm really excited. And that's what I say about a lot of things. But I think about that now on. It took me a little bit to drive over here. So that's gas. That's my time to drive. I'm spending an hour visiting with you all about this information. That's my time. It's your time as well. And I was joking. I think Kim already left. But she was saying the only reason why she pays $400 a year for the chamber is for Recess for Success. And I went, okay. And I think Joel was fast with his math because he's a financial guy. He goes, yeah, they're about $35. If you just came to these, it's $35. So mine was, okay, can I give you $35 worth of value? And I hope I have, and that you walk away from here going, okay, it was totally worth at least $35 admission. Of course, I don't want to be this slide. I want to be that slide. So where, yeah, it was certainly worth it. In summary, we figured out what the value of a customer is. We figured out how much we're willing to spend just online, right? Remember, we have 55% of our marketing budget set aside for the physical. And then, of course, we're gonna figure out how to determine what marketing channel we wanna go with online. Now, I just gave you enough just to bother you, and if you wanna scratch, then go out online, go Google this stuff, go look up these different ways of marketing online. And then, of course, we measure the selection we made. In this case, it was SEO, because I could show you some actual numbers and how to look at it. And so we've kind of tied it all together. And now we've made a decision with our marketing budget, how we're gonna think about this thing, how we're gonna attack it, how we're gonna measure it, and was it worthwhile? Now remember, at the very beginning, I said, if you can't figure out how to do this, you may not want to be in business, because this is really important in business to be able to track this information. It goes outside of this, though. It goes out to hiring people, it goes out to bringing on a contractor, or hiring a digital marketer to come in and help you. It's a cost to you, and it needs to fit, and it needs to produce revenue for your company. So food for thought. Oh, and I already went through this. I forgot I had this slide out here. So again, you can apply this thought process to business development, or I'm sorry, where are you spending your money, right? Business development, promotional products, radio advertising, print advertising, even hosting events. Are you throwing parties for your clients and telling them, hey, bring a friend that I don't know that owns a business so I can talk to them and have the opportunities. There's a lot of ways you can spend your money outside of marketing, but you want to track that. You want to figure out if the squeeze was worth the juice. And I'm trying to figure out how to effectively track these. So it might be another talk or a recess for success. Maybe somebody else is willing to take on 55% of what's going on outside to show us how we can get better in business. But hopefully I've shown you how you can approach your marketing online, how you can determine whether or not you're getting value. And at this point, I did share this. Now, I tried testing this, and I've got there's a setting I didn't click. This bit.ly link is for this slide deck. So if you want to pull this down, I would ask you, when it opens up, select File, Save Copy. I'll go ahead and save a copy, but if there's been some times where some people will hit download, or they'll hit move, and they'll remove it from my drive because I'm sharing it on public, and then everybody else loses access to it. So I'll keep an eye on that, monitor it, make sure it's always out there. But if you like the slide deck, by all means, I try to make it as short of a URL as possible. But notice, this is a vanity URL. I get to track how many people, I get a count for Matt, how many were here, and I get to track how many people pulled this down. Again, this is helping me figure out, is there an opportunity here? Am I doing something right, or am I off? So I'll go ahead. Does anybody have any questions? I really ripped through that because I really want to be respectful of everyone's time. I think we go till 5:15, so we can get out of here early too, unless you guys, if there's anything and it could be outside of this if you just want to hit me upside the head with jumping out of an airplane twice. Happening this one.
I have a question, Jeremy.
Yes.
Can you give a list of, when you think about SEO specifically, the types of businesses, or if there are certain types of businesses that should be going that way, and if there are certain businesses that generally SEO has not been a great focus for, just so we can kind of wrap our heads around that? So I'll start with what it's not good for. If you work for a company that is, excuse me, maybe franchised, you're under someone's banner, they typically lock that branding down. They don't want you out monkeying around with their brand or with their services or anything else. They typically tell you, we got you, Mark, you don't worry about it, you just go out, follow the playbook, right? So there's a lot of those companies I can think about. Financial guys, you guys are a pain to SEO, painful. And it's not just it's every financial guy. They have so many strict rules that you have to be mindful of. We love doing work for anybody in the medical industry, and it's simply because I have a medical background, and so I understand HIPAA laws, I understand ADA compliance. There's some people that they'll just throw their hat in the ring and go, oh yeah, we'll do this for you, and then all of a sudden there's some information out there that shouldn't be out there, and they get called on it, they get sued, and it's really bad. So I would say that there's little things you want to be mindful of. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't
Joel and I were actually having this conversation, and I'm actually gonna run an experiment on myself, because I always eat before I feed. Wait, I always try it before I suggest it to somebody else. And Joel and I were talking, and we were talking about branding, and I actually have jerryspringer.com, which is pretty awesome. So if you grab your own name, do it. But I'm gonna run an experiment I'm gonna outrank Stony Up SEO for some stuff. And simply because it's what I do. But if now I can push that off under me, that'd be kind of exciting. So imagine if you had joelwilson.com and you decided you want to talk about financial services. Now you probably get in trouble. I don't know. We still have to have the rest of that conversation. But what I'm getting at is sometimes there's ways around it. I have an attorney website that I own, and I've posted articles around family law, and I've ranked that. And the phone rings, and people call me crying because they're ending their marriage, and it freaks me out. And so I forward that on to a family lawyer. And so it's weird in that the internet is still kind of wild, wild west. I mean, I can go out there and rank all kinds of stuff just because I understand the algorithm. Doesn't mean I want to, right? But it's hard to answer your question. There's a lot of businesses that we like to sit down and kind of go through this exercise. Is it worth it to you? And there's a pause too. We always tell everybody, I don't own Google. If I could walk into Google and hit the button on the people's websites, I want to be #1 every time. I do it in a heartbeat and be #1 tomorrow. It usually does take time. Depends on how competitive the marketplace is. An example, back to attorneys. I ranked an attorney website because I just wanted to see how difficult it was. I wanted to see how good I was. It took me 7 months to get it up to page 1. That's not position 1, just page 1. It was painful. And it cost me my time. If somebody had to pay me for that, it would have cost them, I don't know, 7 months, probably 35 grand to do that for them. But what's interesting is I stopped doing that a year and a half ago. We had over 65 calls through that in the past 2-3 months. A retainer's 3 grand. So back to, if we're just crunching the numbers, the person I'm sending those calls to, I've paid for their staff, I've paid for their office, new furniture, whatever they're good right now. So we don't really turn away anybody unless they're get rich quick. I'm terrified of startups because startups typically don't have their mind wrapped around thinking this way. They just really don't, or even if they do, they just don't have the budget. We're actually working with a startup right now because I'm trying to find a way to fix that. I'm sincere when I say I want to help every business I possibly can. A brand new startup. And I'm super excited to work with them because I might have to eat my shirt on it, but we're planning to grow with them, and they're planning to increase their budget with us along the way. So I know I'm going to do what I can do. As long as he takes care of his customers, I believe in him. He's a young guy. I'm really excited about the legacy he's going to build. And I can see the potential of us, because we're going together at multiple locations. So it makes sense from a business perspective to kind of take a hit on the chin every now and then. We don't do business with anyone that would want us to do anything pornographically related. Any gambling sites, we run away from that. Sorry, terribly sorry, Bruce.
Get his checkbook out.
No, and
Question. So that thing you did with the lawyer, you're passing, it's like a referral thing you're doing. You created a lawyer's
yeah, so
website,
earlier
and then
that's
it's like
why-
an affiliate thing you did.
Yeah, that's kind of, yeah, exactly.
That's an example of
Yeah, and
affiliate.
when we were talking about ways we could track this, we purchased a phone number.
Yeah.
It's a phone number we use throughout the site. All we're doing is literally forwarding the phone number over to their front desk, and their front desk hears family law lead. And they're not gonna get that from anybody else but us, and they answer and they just simply say law office.
And so they're getting those customers. Are you getting some return on them? Hopefully, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we get compensated pretty well for them. Yeah, thanks for asking. And it's kind of fun too, because I need to talk with Scott Sloan about this. That's a site that I'm actually considering selling. And so I want to kind of figure out, how do I position that? Because I have all this data, I know the value of it. Is there a way I can position that in the marketplace? literally built something that any family law attorney would probably fall all over themselves just to get the phones ringing the way it is right
Because
now.
it has a track record already.
Exactly. Well, not only that, it's just a lot of business coming in. And the funny
To
thing is.
nobody, to you, which is not a white.
Yeah, exactly. So I can't, and that's the sad thing. So here's one rub that I just don't like about what I've done with this company is, man, I can do this for everybody else and my phone rings. Don't get me wrong, we're making money off of our own SEO, which is fine, but man, I can rank this and I can rank that. Maybe I should start that business and start that. And I'm a curious little monkey, so I want to do everything. I want to just try my hand at everything, and I'm trying to turn myself off from doing that. And so that is part of why I want to sell it too. It's
You
just
should
I
try to
want
sell printer cartridges online. Great.
I never claimed to be super smart. Just enough to get through. But yeah, I'm sorry, I'm taking a long time to answer your question. We try to help every single business we possibly can. There is some stipulations to that. When I sign on a client in an area, I will not take on that same industry in the same area. So of the list that you were rattling off, if we're doing local SEO for them, we won't take on another client in that location that we're SEOing for. So, which is good and bad. I've lost 3 opportunities because we're ranking a chiropractor right now. And I've had 3 different chiropractors contact me and say, hey, let's do it. Sorry, I can't help you. Here, let me refer you over here. I think you're okay. Of course, I'm going to refer to somebody that sucks so I can keep winning. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's really about whoever. One, it has to be low stress. That's why we avoid the startup. So if somebody's contacting me and they go, oh, we want to do this, we know how important it is, and then we go, okay, here's the cost. And they go into freak out mode, my phone's blowing up every minute on the minute. Why am I not number 1? Why am I not number? We will fire that client immediately. So it's my job to educate them and let them know back to, I can't hit a button. Slow and steady wins the race. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer just because it's more difficult. Sometimes we're at number 1 in 2 months. We took over Lead Summit SEO in 2 months of me launching my company, which you would think in my industry that would be hard to achieve considering I'm going against SEOs, right? So you just never know. You just have to go out and look and see what's available.
Bev?
Beth, hi Beth.
So when you said ranking, like, you wouldn't do another one in the industry, local, like how local, what if it's a national?
Well, you pay for what you get. And what I mean by that is, let's say you have a really small budget and you go, I want to rank just in Lead Summit. I just want to rank in Lead Summit,
Okay.
right? Then we would quote you out. But if any type of promotional product company came to me and they said, hey, we want to rank in Lead Summit, I'm sorry, I can't help you.
But if they would want to rank nationally because they have an online e-commerce site.
I still wouldn't go for Lead Summit. But I would also but if they called me and they said, that's fine, we'll take Blue Springs, we'll take Independence, we'll take Kansas City, I would call you and say, hey Bev, we're doing this for you here in Lead Summit. Someone just called me, they want Blue Springs. I want to give you first right of refusal before I acknowledge to bring them on. So I want to make sure you're taken care of first and foremost because you're in the family now, right? It's family first. And so, and I want you to feel good about it. I don't want you to be caught off guard. So that's pretty much how we handle that. Now at a national level, I will tell that person, I am happy to rank you in every flippin' city on this planet except Lead Summit. We have a client there. That'll be the last place on earth that I focus is Lead Summit. So I'm not interested in, there's companies out there that they will just take anybody and everybody they can. And when I go out and do research looking for new clients, guess what? These jerks put their websites on the bottom of their clients' websites. They're not paying them for advertising, but they love putting their logo down there. They love getting the link back to their website. And I can see, oh, this jerk has 3 people that he's charging to be not on page 1, number 1. That's our goal, number 1. You can only have one number 1. So why would he have 3 people there? So those are things where I'm just like, and maybe I'm a horrible business person for being that way, but seriously, I want to be on the winning team. And the winning team isn't first place and second place and third place unless that's your website on first, second, and third. And we've seen that on occasion. So anyways, I'm battling and kind of
Do you see a lot of nonprofits go this route?
No, I wish they would. If you're a nonprofit or you know a nonprofit, let me just drop this on you. Google actually grants up to $10,000 in free ads for free. All you have to do is go through the process of letting them know, I'm a nonprofit, here's our paperwork. You've got to go through a little bit of hoops, but they will give you $10,000 every month.
Wow.
Every month towards ad spend.
Do you have any kind of a different pricing structure for nonprofits? No, right?
I really don't approach nonprofit. It's weird. We're actually helping out a nonprofit here locally, and it's just because I insist because their site's so ugly. Now you know who I'm talking about. It's the only nonprofit here with an ugly website, but I just wanted to do it for free just because they're a friend. But there's nothing different about it. A website's a website. Their customers visiting them is exactly the same. We rank it exactly the same. We go out and we look for search volume. Where's the most impactful way that we can get traffic here? And off we go. There's nothing that's different. The only thing that's different is basically how they have marketing budgets. So for us, there's really nothing different about it.